The rate of suicide in South Korea is alarmingly high. Why? An estimated 877,000 lives were lost globally to suicide in 2002. Since the 1997 economic crisis, the number of suicides in Korea has increased dramatically, and the country considers suicide to be one of its most critical public health and social problems. This research investigates the present state and patterns of the escalating incidences of suicidal thoughts, deeds, and endeavors in Korea. The data of the National Health Interview Survey conducted in 1995 and 1998, as well as the 20-year statistics of suicide fatalities, recently published by the National Statistical Office, were reanalyzed in this study. The rate of increase for the suicidal mortality rate in Korea is the greatest among OECD nations, and it is also the highest among other countries. Suicidal ideation is significantly more prevalent among males, individuals in their late teens, and those aged 70. There is a higher incidence of suicidal ideation among females and individuals in their late teens, as one of the leading causes of death among younger individuals. Suicide exerts a more pronounced socioeconomic influence when compared to other prevalent causes of death among senior individuals. In this episode of New Today, we will be discussing the rate of suicide in South Korea is alarmingly high. Why? Kindly contribute to the expansion of this channel through actions such as subscribing, leaving comments, sharing with friends, and liking. Let's now delve into this fascinating subject. In 2021, 26 out of every 100,000 persons, or approximately 13,300 Koreans, committed suicide, according to data released by the National Statistics Office in September. This represents an increase of 0.3% compared to the previous year. In February, new data revealed that South Korea, despite its technologically sophisticated society, ranked 36th among the 38 members of the Organization for Economic County Operation and Development in terms of life satisfaction. This ranked the country among the least satisfied. It has been suggested that loneliness, rising household debt, and a lack of leisure time have contributed to Korea's happiness score falling to 5.9, which is significantly lower than the OECD average of 6.7. A society that is unforgiving of individuals' errors. In addition to high-pressure work and school environments, unemployment, the absence of a social safety net for the elderly, and the prevalence of cultural values that stigmatize poor mental health have been linked to the mental health crisis in South Korea. Dr. Hae Kyung-kwon, a New York-based Korean-American psychotherapist and the founder of an online counseling service, stated that depressive symptoms were notably severe among the elderly and younger who lacked a sense of agency, extreme parental investment in their children's education, and the fierce competition for admission to a limited number of elite South Korean universities contribute to the enormous pressure on young people to succeed, she said. They tell their children, "We are spending this money, so you better become this," she explained. At some point, they feel they cannot meet everyone's expectations and are therefore under pressure. Life is also difficult for the elderly population of Korea. In addition to the debilitating isolation that 1.6 million senior citizens faced in 2021, they lived alone. Dr. Kwon stated that the country lacks a robust welfare system to assist the elderly. Dementia and exhaustion are perpetuated as a result of the inability of many seniors to retire, and their reliance on low-paying service employment, such as refuse collection, to make ends meet. Certain elements contributing to the mental health challenges faced by the nation are also ingrained in the distinctive Korean values that endured the country's accelerated modernization during the latter half of the 20th century. Dr. Kwon describes a variety of these, including pervasive patriarchal undertones in South Korea that devalue and threaten women, as well as traditional notions of shame, saving face, and conformity. Our culture is not forgiving of individuals who make errors. She further stated, the escalating suicide crisis in Korea has brought attention to the critical requirement for enhanced mental health assistance. Political support to combat the issue is desperately needed. The Ministry of Health and Welfare, MOHW, acknowledged in a statement to The Telegraph this week, adding that it had intensified its suicide prevention program in April. Public awareness regarding mental health has been significantly elevated due to major national calamities, such as the 2014 Sewol ferry disaster, which claimed 306 lives, including 250 high school students, and Itaewon, which primarily affected young adults in their 20s and 30s. The initial incident involving the Sewol ferry demonstrated to the public the profound effects of trauma. It was enormous because the entire nation was in mourning, Dr. Kwan explained. However, according to victims and specialists, a nationwide deficiency in psychological support services persists. Dr. Kwan stated that a crucial link was absent, which prevented resource accessibility from reaching those who required it most. Mental health continues to be forbidden. A paper published in the Harvard International Review last year described the struggles of mental health care delivery in South Korea despite staggering rates of depression and stress. It reported that in 2017, nearly 1 in every 4 South Koreans suffered from a mental disorder, but only 1 in 10 received treatment, citing a mentality that still considered the subject taboo. This information was deemed a hidden crisis on the Han River, which flows through Seoul. Despite government assurances of assistance for all affected by the throng, Ms. Song stated she did not know where to turn for assistance. The MOHW declined to address particular concerns when questioned, but stated that a blend of public and private sector assistance had been provided, including in-depth consultations with private experts and telephone counseling. In addition, a crisis hotline for mental health was provided. It was stated that as of March 10, psychological assistance had been extended to 514 individuals, including 275 bereaved families and the injured, and that 6,274 individuals, including emergency services, had received additional assistance such as group counseling and education. The ministry stated that it has increased its disaster support programs and personnel, as well as its national trauma centers, since the catastrophe. However, Ms. Song claimed she was left in the dark because an official helpline failed to provide any specific guidance. Although there are policies and programs in place, the primary challenge is that victims, who are in a state of panic, must independently investigate these programs, she explained. Moreover, the program's quality and standard are extremely low. Desperate, she located a hospital counseling service that could only provide Jae-hyun with a 20-minute consultation every 10 days, while she sought the assistance of a more capable specialist. Waiting lists for trauma services at numerous clinics extended for weeks or months. He was eager to return to school because he wanted to return to his normal life, and never missed a hospital appointment, she said, adding that the state's overburdened support system ultimately failed him. Ms. Song was devastated on the day of Jae-hyun's funeral due to harsh online comments made about her parenting. Dr. Paik Jong-woo, director of the Medical and Psychological Support Volunteer Group for Bereaved Itaewon Families, and a professor of psychiatry at Kyunghee University, stated that the authorities had struggled to deal with the magnitude of psychological assistance required. He continued, "We do have basic systems for those individuals, but we lack the necessary personnel. Reforms are necessary, and the process is ongoing." Dr. Paik stated that South Korea's social welfare programs had struggled to maintain pace with economic development, in addition to the immediate requirements caused by disasters. For economic advancements, safety nets such as social communities, social welfare systems, and mental health services have proven inadequate, he stated. Furthermore, a portion of the extremely serious suicide rate in the country is ascribed to accelerated industrialization, which, according to experts, propelled the country out of destitution after the Korean War, but also fostered an increase in individualism and the disintegration of traditional community ties. Our country had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Due to our extremely limited resources, we are forced to contend. Achieving success is under tremendous pressure, Dr. Kwan explained. Over the course of a relatively brief period, our nation flourished tremendously. The episode was a phenomenal success. But we are now bearing the consequences of disregarding tradition. The aforementioned departure from communal bonds is manifested in the progressively secluded demographic of the country, thereby augmenting individuals' susceptibility to mental illness. Statistics Korea estimates that 2 out of every 5 South Koreans will be living alone by 2050. As of 2021, approximately 7.2 million individuals, or 1/3 of all households, were living alone. This figure surpassed that of any multiple number family group. On that fateful night, An Young-sun, the mother of Kim Dong-gyu, an additional adolescent who perished in the Itaewon calamity, holds herself responsible for her son's demise. I reflect on that day daily, questioning whether there was anything I could have done differently to ensure his survival, she continued. The families endure daily distress. At the time, I believed I could not survive for a single day without my son. Ms. N, similar to others, has been overcome with grief and trauma. However, she has yet to receive the necessary psychological support. Presently, she passes the time reminiscing over cherished recollections with Dong-gyu, who passed away at the age of 17. He was generous and kind. He once stated that he desired for me to have fun and pursue an interest of mine. My favorite musician would give me a concert ticket as a gift if he were to perform. We would attend thought-provoking films collectively. She stated that a suitable memorial, which is presently a matter of contention between families and the authorities, would alleviate some of the suffering. That memorial ought to function as a poignant reminder to prevent future catastrophes, not as a place for sobbing or melancholy, she emphasized. Only a repetition will ensue if this is forgotten. The daily video has now concluded. We express our sincere appreciation for your attention towards this informative video. Subscribing to our channel will ensure that you never miss an episode of our most innovative content. Consider presenting this video to your peers and giving it a like if you found it entertaining. Goodbye and enjoy your day.